What's going on, everyone? Welcome back. In this video, we are looking at the 5-game NBA slate for Thursday. We have it starting at 7:30. So let's get started. Yesterday, De'Aaron Fox getting hurt 5 minutes into the game absolutely ruined the night. I know a lot of other people had him as well, so it's not the only one, but it definitely sucks when your player gets hurt, especially a star right early in the game because you know you're kind of done. But we'll go ahead and touch on the slate tonight. Keep moving forward. Let's get started. As always, appreciate if you guys hit the like button down below. Subscribe if you haven't already. You can check out the Twitter at the DFS process for updates throughout the day. And let's get started. We'll go game by game. And I like these 5-game slates. I think they're like the perfect size slate to kind of talk about each game pretty in depthly, and then still feel good about your lineups and don't think that you have to get a piece of every single game. So here we have the 76ers and the Brooklyn Nets. Sixers on a back-to-back. The Nets coming off of that absolute demolishing of the Utah Jazz at home a couple days ago. The Sixers coming off of a pretty close win against the Wizards. That game was like a 270. Ended up being like a 270 total. So here we have the Sixers priced nicely here. Embiid is only 9,500. He's absolutely crushed the Nets in the past with Jared Allen and Jordan. So I think he looks like a guy that is going to be a solid option tonight. It is a little bit scary on a back-to-back, especially when he played 37 minutes the day before. So hopefully he'll play. I know the other time they had a back-to-back, he ended up missing because of a back injury, quote-unquote. So we'll see if he plays tonight. If not, then load up on Dwight Howard at 4,300. Jared Allen is up to 6,400 now, so I don't have interest in him even if he starts, especially against if it's Embiid. I won't have interest. If Embiid happens to miss on a back-to-back, then I think he could take a shot. But right now at the center position, it's either Embiid if he plays or Howard if Embiid misses. And then Tobias looks like a solid option at 75. You have Prince at 35, who I also like as a nice cheap play. Prince played only 20 minutes. That game was a blowout, so he didn't have to play too much. Would have played in the mid-20s. Took 9 shots, so probably would have expected double-digit shot attempts, which is kind of all you kind of want to look for at when you're looking for a value play in the 3K range. So I think I'll take a shot on him again at only 3,500, especially with how crazy that starting lineup was last time. They ended up doing well, so probably we'll run it back again tonight. So Prince, I think he's still in line for good minutes, and hopefully he'll hit value tonight at that price tag. You have Seth Curry, who's absolutely killing it for the Sixers, shooting almost 60% from 3 this season, 59%. It's been crazy. He's put up 41, 17, 35, 31, 34, 15, and 30 in his most recent games, so hitting value most times than not. Price tag is still super affordable. You get those extra half points on DraftKings for triples made, so I think at shooting guard he looks like a solid option if you want to, because I'm definitely going to have a couple of Nets in here with Prince, and then I love Kyrie Irving, so it makes sense to run it back with a Sixer or two, and I do think Seth Curry at that price tag looks like a viable play. Also think you could take a shot on Danny Green, who's hit value in 3 straight games, but we know he's not super consistent. Like, I definitely feel a little bit more comfortable with Curry in my lineup because Danny Green can give you like a 5-point outing. So he's still in play because he's cheap, but I do like Curry a little bit more. And then point guards here, you have LeVert at 68, coming off the bench, only played 21 minutes. So another guy that would have played in the mid-20s at least if that game was close. So he's fine off the bench. He's going to get all that usage. You can take a shot at 68. It's not like the best point per dollar play, but we know the upside that he presents. And then Kyrie Irving sitting at 96. He had a huge first quarter, was on pace to break the slate, and then he kind of just slowed down. Didn't have to play the fourth, so that obviously hurt, but ended up shooting 5 of 7 from 3, 12 and 19 from the floor. He's been killing it this season, shooting-wise and being super efficient. He's shot 40+% from distance, over 50% from the floor, and that's super impressive for a guy that takes as many shots as Kyrie Irving does. So 9,600 for him. I think he looked like a great play tonight. And then you have Simmons at 89. You could play him, but I think I will either take a shot on Embiid or Curry or Tobias tonight. And that's kind of it for the first game. I think we kind of discussed all the main points. Moving on to the second game. This game isn't super interesting from a DraftKings perspective. We have the Cavs and the Grizzlies. Right now, I don't see anything that's really jumping off the page. Sexton is priced pretty nice, appropriately at 73. So I don't think you're getting a ton of value on that price tag. Drummond, you never know the minutes that he's going to get. He didn't even play 26. Only played 26 in a close game. He was a bit in foul trouble, but the minutes are definitely scary, so I don't feel good about Drummond, especially after what happened that time that I did play him at, when he only played 20 minutes. So still haven't got that memory out of my head. I just don't think there's too much to like on this game. Like, Anderson is 64, Brooks is 63. Two guys that are playable, but now that they have Melton back, now that Allen is back, Bane gets minutes. They just play so many guys in Memphis, so I won't be interested in them. And then on the Cavs side, they do have a lot of injuries, but I think the guy that you could take a shot on is Chetty Osman, who's 57. He took 12 shots. Only made one of them, so that's probably not going to happen again. But just going to have to play a ton of minutes just with all the injuries on the team. So he's a guy to potentially consider. And that's kind of it. I don't see myself playing 77K plus for Valanciunas when we have some other better centers on the slate. Moving on, this game is going to be fun. Dallas and Denver. Jokic is priced at 10.9. When you have Embiid at 95, you have Lillard at 93. You have Luka at 10.5. I think he's kind of getting up there in price, so I don't think I'll have him tonight. Also, Michael Porter is back, so that's just going to be more usage. That's going to be off of a little bit more usage. That's going to go to his way and less to Jokic. And then you have Jamal Murray at 76. So his price tag is also up, and then Porter coming back is going to kind of mess up the plans a little bit for him. And then Barton might not start at 59. So I don't have too much interest in the Denver side. They're all kind of priced high, and getting back a high usage player in Porter is not going to help them. So I'll pass on them. And then on the Dallas side, I like Luka at 10.5. He had a couple of big games in a row, so hopefully he's starting to turn his season around. And it's not an easy spot going into Denver, but I like the price tag on him a lot still. He's still playable, but I think there are a couple of other options if you don't feel comfortable with it. And then they brought Hardaway off the bench last game, and he ended up having his best game of the season. Played 31 minutes, made 11 of 14. See if that happens again, because he wasn't shooting great in the starting lineup, and off the bench he does get a little bit more usage. So I'm not interested in him at 6,000, but if on a different slate, if he's a little bit cheaper, coming off the bench, he would be interesting. Fourth game, San Antonio and the Lakers. Another game that I don't have a ton of interest unless Davis happens to miss. LeBron's always been questionable every game this season. It's been Davis who hasn't been questionable very often, so he's questionable. If he misses, then you're going to want to take a shot on LeBron at 10,000. You're probably going to want to play like Montrezl Harrell at 59. You could take a shot on Dennis Schroeder at 61. So it's kind of a wait-and-see approach on the Lakers side. Then on the Spurs side, Aldridge is only 6,000. His minutes have been down this season. He missed a few games, came back, played like mid-20s last game. I'm not too interested right now in Aldridge. Keldon Johnson's been playing great, but now that Aldridge is back, he's going to be a little bit tougher for him to hit value every single night. And then this game is just, right now, unless Davis misses, I just don't have too much interest in it. Everybody's kind of priced appropriately, and I don't think it's going to be one of the higher scoring games of the night. Speaking of high scoring games, I think this game is going to be the best one to target on the slate. That's why I saved 3 spots to fill in this game. We have the Timberwolves and the Portland Trailblazers in Portland. Damian Lillard, his price tag is down to 93, so I think it's finally a spot to jump on him. After being 10K, 98, 98, 98. Price tags that you needed kind of 60 fantasy points to feel good about it. Now he's down to 93, so dropping a 50 bomb, you'll be happy with it. He's been shooting a ton, which is what you expect. Shots haven't been going in all that often, but it's just such a good spot against Minnesota. They are awful defensively. They give up a ton of threes. They give up very high field goal percentage for opposing teams. They turn the ball over a lot. You're getting huge minutes for Lillard. I just think it's a spot where he finally has his first big game of the season, and I think it's going to come when people are still going to be a little bit scared just with how he's looked this season, and might go to like Luka, might go to pay all the way up for like Jokic. So I like Lillard a lot to spend up on. And then on the Minnesota side, we have D'Angelo Russell checking in at 77. He's a guy that you can run it back with if you play Lillard. Russell has been fine the last couple games, which is what you want to see. Expect this game to be pretty close. The Portland team hasn't been firing on all cylinders. And the Timberwolves did play a Denver pretty tough last game, so expect this game to be a bit close. 77 for Russell is still a nice price tag for a guy that just has so much usage and just has a ball in his hands so much. So in close games, you'll see him play 36 to 37 like he did last game. And now we saw Wancho go off in his revenge game. He's sitting at only $4,400. He looks to be a guy that you can target again, just because he's still starting, playing good minutes for them. A guy that you could look to on a 5-game slate if you want to be a little bit different is Jared Vanderbilt. He's only $3,800. He closed last game, which is nice. They didn't get much production from Ed Davis. Naz Reid only played a couple minutes, so it looks like they could be giving Vanderbilt more run, and he's kind of earned some more playing time. He looked great at the end of the game, and he's just a fantasy point monster if he's out there on the court. They're 18.5 fantasy points in just 13 minutes so far this season, and it's against a Portland team that does play big, so you could see him play against Cantor, who's really bad defensively, and if he gets like 20 minutes, I feel good about him hitting value. So he's a guy to consider. You can also plug in Hernan Gomez if you want to be a little bit safer, but which Hernan Gomez was center eligible. But yeah, I definitely think you can go this type of route, or you could even play Vanderbilt at forward if you wanted to spend up for if you didn't want to sacrifice the center position for anybody. Put him in at forward instead. Just put him in at power forward. Vanderbilt and then Prince here. And that kind of does it for this 5-game slate. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the Draftkings side. Let's jump over to Fanduel and touch on their salaries. All right, over on Fanduel here, starting off at point guards, we have Luka checking in at 11-1. Then you have Kyrie, Dame Lillard. Love the price tags on Lillard and Kyrie right now on Fanduel as well. I'm not interested really in Murray at 76 or really DeJounte against the Lakers. That's a pretty tough matchup. So we'll probably spend up back here at point guard. Definitely like Kyrie Irving the best out of the top options. Shooting guard, you have Russell at only 78. That's a nice price tag to jump on. You have Beasley at only 56. That definitely looks like something to consider. If LeBron or Davis happens to miss, you have Schroeder at only 53. And then it's kind of it here. I don't think I'll go super cheap here at this position. I'll probably stick with like D'Angelo Russell at 78. Small forwards, not a ton at the top with Durant out, so you have LeBron at 10-1 if he plays. You have Tobias at 79. That's fine. It's not. I think it's kind of expensive on FanDuel with the other options here, though. I think it's a good position to spend down a bit. You have Cedi Osman at 52, just going to play a ton of minutes. Good matchup against the Grizzlies. He's going to shoot a lot. He has a little bit more usage with the ball in his hands. Without Garland, don't have that much of a guy that can handle the ball too much, so you're going to see Cedi Osman play a good amount of minutes at small forward. Then we have Vanderbilt at 45, so he's not as cheap as he is on DraftKings. You have Anthony Edwards at only 41. He's been awful shooting the ball, but that is definitely a nice price tag on him. And Danny Green at 39 if you needed a cheap play. I think you could go with like Keldon Johnson at 65. He's been very consistent for them, getting you 30s and 40s, playing good minutes right now. Aldridge coming back is going to hurt him a little bit, but no Derek White's going to help. So I think 65. He's a guy that you could take a shot on in this San Antonio Lakers game. Power forward, we have Davis at 10-4. Another position that not that many options at the top with Davis questionable. You have Covington 5,000. He looks pretty solid in that 5K range. Don't know why JaVale McGee's power forward eligible now, but go play him if you want. Prince at 42. Wancho is at 42. I'll play Wancho again. At 4,200, take a shot. Price tag went up 700, but starting, he's going to get minutes if he's playing well. Matchup is great. Expecting a high-scoring game, so a lot to like with Wancho. And then center, Jokic is 11-3. That's a little bit tough to get to on this slate. I think you could do better by taking a shot on Embiid. And then you have Nurkic and Joe Val both at really nice price tags. Both been playing not a ton of minutes, but I do like Valanciunas against Cleveland here. A guy that can get you a monster double-double. He's basically a double-double every single night. Playing like 25, 26 minutes recently. It's not the best, but we know he does have upside to get you like 30s and 40 fantasy points. And if he's having like a great game, I think the coach will be smart and actually leave him out there instead of taking him out very often. So 65 for Valanciunas allows you to spend up for some other positions, and you definitely feel good about not breaking the bank at a center position, and then you can spend up at both point guard spots, spend up at shooting guard, spend up at maybe another power forward spot. So yeah, that's kind of it for this 5 gamer. Not a ton to talk about besides a couple of really good games to target. If you want to look to a game stack up the last game, and then get a couple pieces from the first game, and then get a couple pieces from the middle game, and I think you'll be sitting nice tonight. So thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Best of luck, and good luck tonight.